UMG, or Universal Music Group, is going to war with TikTok. It's about to get crazy. And like I said, it may not be exactly what y'all think. We're going to dive into it. And later on in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the things that I think are being missed in this whole UMG TikTok conversation. But first, we're going to find out why UMG is removing their music from TikTok and what TikTok is saying about UMG. They're starting this whole war, it seems like, when it comes to music and content and ownership. And it's going to be interesting to see what's going on. Now, a lot of y'all may not know UMG they're the biggest record label out there. I mean, you've got your big three record labels, but UMG is number one. And they have so many artists and so many other record labels that are under them as well. So some of y'all may know some of the biggest artists they have: Taylor Swift, Bad Bunny, The Weeknd, Alicia Keys, SZA, Drake, Billie Eilish, Kendrick Lamar, Adele, Ariana Grande, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. A lot of y'all may know it. So recently, TikTok and UMG were in negotiation trying to figure out how much TikTok was going to pay UMG for the music that they were allowing on TikTok's platform. That was music from some of their most popular artists. And they weren't able to come to an agreement. And UMG decided that they were going to remove all of their artists' music from TikTok, which is really, really, really interesting. And we're going to find out not only why they did that, but some of the ramifications that may come from them removing their music from TikTok. So y'all check this out. This is a video that we got from Billboard, and they explained a little bit further what's going on between UMG and TikTok. This is for that video. So y'all have to let me know what you think about that, because I think it's really interesting that not only is UMG being affected, like they said, but a lot of the artists who are signed to and work with these record labels are being affected as well, because they're not going to be getting that traffic that they were getting from TikTok to their music, to their other platforms, to whatever else they may have going on. And this is going to have an effect on them. Now, as we're going to see in this article, UMG is saying, oh, it's not a big deal because only 1% of our revenue comes from TikTok. But again, that's not even taking into factor the amount of reach they're able to get just from people making viral videos and viral content from their artist music. So let me double check this. We are going to look at this article again from Billboard, where they're talking about everything that went down between UMG and TikTok. So the question they pose is, will UMG's TikTok licensing standoff lead to music's equivalent of the Hollywood strikes? That's an interesting point, but I don't think it's going to be because of TikTok, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. The music giant's decision to remove its catalog from the social platform will reverberate through the entire business, which I agree 100%. It's too soon to say what impact Universal Music Group's plan to pull all its music from TikTok will have, but if you're looking for a clue, try asking an Australian. Now, before we get into it, as of today, UMG's music is no longer on TikTok. So if you go over to TikTok and you try and find a Taylor Swift song, you try and find an Adele song, Ariana Grande song, it's not going to show anything. Even their artist profiles are not on the platform anymore, which is absolutely insane. This is going to be interesting. Anyway, last February, TikTok began running tests in the country, which we had talked about before. And the country is talking about is Australia, in which it limited the amount of licensed music some users encountered on the platform. The intent was to measure and compare the different ways people interact with the app and what impact music has on their experience. Some users told X, formerly Twitter, that they said TikTok's really ruining its own app with all this sound removed garbage. Yeah, one Australian user posted. Another added, WTF is up with TikTok removing like half the sounds. I swear I've seen so many TikToks where the sound has been removed, and it's going to continue to be that way. But I think there's an interesting light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to talk about it here in a few minutes once we go through a couple more of these articles. I think y'all are going to find it very, very interesting. Some guests at the time that the results were possibly meant to inform TikTok's licensing licensing strategy, but now the social platform is facing an even bigger test. Starting today, music from Universal Music Group's catalog will begin to disappear, and it's all gone now. You can't find it. You can't find it at all. According to an open letter penned by UMG, which we're going to address here in a second, the ramifications will reverberate across the entire music business. UMG's TikTok license covered its recording, music, and publishing holdings, meaning that it's not just artists on UMG's labels like Republic or Interscope whose music will soon disappear. Universal Music Publishing Group is the second largest publisher in the world. Sheesh. Holding a 21.16% market share. Oh my gosh. So basically any 21% of all music that's out there is owned by UMG, which is absolutely insane. Okay, and they go on to the article to talk about a little bit more about the experiments they were doing, what artists are affected by this, and how that's going to change things moving forward. So like I said, you can go onto TikTok right now. You can try and find songs from some of your popular artists, and you're not going to be able to see them there. And a lot of the songs and audio that was used on some of the videos, they just have no sound at all. So it's going to be a weird transition. But the question I was asked is, who has the most leverage here? And you guys will have to let me know what you think, because people who are creating these videos, and even other artists who are maybe doing, who are maybe remixing certain sounds, they're used to using the TikTok platform. So unless UMG has another platform that they're going to move towards, or another way that they're going to license their music, it seems like TikTok has the advantage here because everyone's used to using TikTok. So I don't know that people are going to start using Instagram because the algorithms are weird and they're way different when it comes to discovery. So you guys will have to let me know what you think. I mean, is this a win or is this an L for UMG? Is TikTok just sitting tight because they know there's going to continue to be music produced? It'll be interesting to see what happens. Here's another article from The Verge. It says TikTok loses Taylor Swift, Drake, and other major Universal Music artists. Man, this is crazy. On Tuesday, UMG accused the video platform of attempting to bully it into accepting a bad deal. Yo, man. Does anybody care about the record labels getting a bad? Personal against the record labels, they've never done anything to me that I'm aware of anyway. So I don't have anything personal against them, but I don't know anybody out there that cares about the record labels getting bullied at this point. They've got a pretty big history, current, past, present, future, that of bullying not only artists but people within the record label. So yeah, I don't know that anybody cares about that. Anyway, let's keep it moving. On Tuesday, UMG accused the platform of attempting to bully it into accepting a bad deal that didn't soothe the record label's concerns regarding adequate compensation for artists and songwriters. Yeah, because record labels, that's their number one priority. Protect against AI generated music. Ooh, interesting point there. And online safety to the platform to protect artists from hate speech, bigotry, bullying, and harassment. What? Man, all of a sudden UMG cares so much. This is very interesting. TikTok responded saying that it was disappointed that UMG that UMG had chosen to walk away from the powerful support of a platform with well over 1 billion users, which is insane, man. That's so much opportunity, and accused the label of putting its own greed above the interests of their artists and songwriters. Now, UMG owned music that features in TikTok videos will be muted, and users looking to replace the removed tracks will need to select alternative options from other music labels. Interesting. So you'll be able to add new audio to the videos you already created, which is going to which makes me wonder why they mentioned AI in the first place. But we're going to get to that in a second, because how would they be able to select an alternative option? Are they talking about covers? Are they talking about AI generated music? They're saying from other labels, but why would you, if you're using a specific lyrics from a specific song, how would you be able to do that? Anyway, and here's them showing a picture of Taylor Swift's TikTok profile with nothing on it. All right, now here's where it starts to get interesting. So here's the statement that TikTok released talking about Universal Music Group. It was short, sweet, to the point. They said it's sad and disappointing that Universal Music Group had put their own greed above the interests of their artists and songwriters. This isn't the first time we've heard this about a record label either, but interesting point all the same. Lifestyle did it, said we're good. All right, appreciate it. Despite Universal's false narrative and rhetoric, the fact is they have chosen to walk away from the powerful support of a platform of well over a billion users that serves as a free promotional and discovery vehicle for their talent, which is true. Very, very true. They've got a lot. I mean, they have a huge benefit to putting their music on TikTok and allowing it on TikTok. TikTok has been able to reach artist first agreements with every other label. Oh man, they are throwing them under. TikTok has been able to reach artist first agreements with every other label and publisher. Clearly, Universal's self-serving actions are not in the best interest of artists, songwriters, and fans. Oh man, I don't know, y'all. If what they're saying in this statement is true, if they've been able to come to agreements with other labels, UMG might be taking the L on this one. But when has a record label really taken the L? Could it be it's about something else? Could it be it's not necessarily about them, how much they're getting paid, but how what TikTok is doing is going to affect their bottom line, which is what I tend to lean towards and think the issue is. Because check out this open letter that Universal Music posted. Now there's a couple interesting things in here, and I want to go a different direction and key in on one point that they mentioned in this open letter. This open letter, I mean, it's a typical open letter. They talk about how much they care about the community and how much they want to support their artists and make sure that they profit the most and get the most commercial potential that they can from their music. But going on, they talk, let me find the exact point here. So let's scroll down a little bit into this one, and then you guys listen carefully to the wording and the way that they describe what TikTok is attempting to do. And so with respect to the issue of artists and songwriter compensation, TikTok purposely paying our artists and songwriters at a rate that is a fraction of the rate that similarly situated major social platforms play. I guess they're referring to Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Today, as an indication of how little TikTok compensates artists and songwriters despite its massive and growing user fan base, rapidly rising advertising revenue, and increasing reliance on music-based content, TikTok accounts for only about 1% of our total revenue, which is why they're saying they're just washing their hands and moving on, because TikTok isn't even that big of a deal. But there's other factors you have to factor in too, because music discoverability is bigger than total revenue, because you can see in a lot of cases with artists that we've talked about, like Nick D, Connor Price, La Russell, even, how some of the videos that they've posted on TikTok have led to them generating millions and millions and millions of monthly listeners over onto their Spotify. So if independent artists are able to do that with TikTok, then what impact do you think that has on these music labels? But they say, UMG goes on to say, ultimately, TikTok is trying to build a music-based business without paying fair value for music. So what do they mean by TikTok is trying to build a music-based business? Interesting. I think they're going to go on to explain what they mean. On AI, you guys knew I was going to You guys probably knew I was going to go this way, but this is one of the biggest topics I want to focus on. On AI, TikTok is allowing the platform to be flooded with AI generated recordings, as well as developing tools to enable, promote, and encourage AI music creation on the platform itself, and then demanding a contractual right which would allow this content to look at the wording that they're using, guys. They're allowing the platform to be flooded. Which would allow this content to massively dilute the royalty pool for human artists in a move that is nothing short of sponsoring artist replacement by AI. Oh man. Guys, this is the point that I think everyone is missing when it comes to one of the biggest reasons that UMG might be pulling out of having their music on TikTok. And I also see it as a big opportunity too, for a couple reasons. One, if this AI generated music is doing so well that it's affecting record labels and they're completely separating themselves from it, that means that they're getting ready to go to war over this AI music movement, which is going to be interesting to see what happens, especially considering that according to TikTok, a lot of these other record labels are already signing new deals with TikTok and just moving forward. So what is UMG's plan to combat and to go to war against this AI music? Because as y'all have seen, and I've shown on past live streams and even in past videos, it is so easy to create AI generated music that sounds good. And it's even easier now to create AI generated music that sounds similar to another artist, which brings me to another point. A lot of y'all may have remembered this guy, and let me pull up an article. Let me see if I could find it. So there was an artist. Let me see. Where is it? There was an artist back last year, and he popped up out of nowhere. No one knew where he came from, who he was. He was super anonymous, and he had a song that he created and posted on TikTok that went absolutely insane and viral. And it was an AI generated song featuring a Drake AI and The Weeknd. And this guy was called Ghostwriter, and they did an article about it. He ended up getting, I think it was Grammy nominated, if I remember correctly. And this all started with his song that he made on TikTok. And now that song went on to do hundreds and hundreds of thousands of streams. There were tons of articles written about Ghostwriter. And I think this was one of the things that started the anti-AI movement. And I think this is one of the reasons that UMG is really starting to distance themselves from platform like TikTok that makes it so easy to promote and go viral and profit from this music. And if y'all haven't done research on Ghostwriter, go and check it out. There's a lot of information on Ghostwriter, what he was able to do. He basically made a song using a Drake and Weeknd AI that went absolutely viral. And you can actually go onto Spotify and still listen to it. A lot of y'all may have heard it. It's called Heart on My Sleeve. I'm gonna play the intro. Let me turn up a little bit. Let me play it.
Love on that, my brother, that's my shot, ayy. Metro made the bid, so you know that it's gon' slide, ayy.
Yeah, anyways, a lot of y'all have probably heard that. And he's the crazy thing is Ghostwriter isn't done yet either. He's got a couple other of AI songs that he is producing and making, and one that's going to be coming out very soon here, and it's featuring Travis Scott and 21 Savage AI. Now, again, a lot of people have an issue with this. Labels like UMG have an issue with this, and I think this is the biggest reason that UMG is starting to distance themselves from TikTok. And it's also a big opportunity, because if it were me and I was just somebody who wanted to profit off of or make money from music, not necessarily an artist, I would start to flood TikTok with AI generated Taylor Swift music, AI generated Ariana Grande music, Drake music, any artist, any major artist that is a part of UMG. I would put in a ton of work into putting as much content out there as I can from with AI generated artists that are no longer on TikTok, because people are still going to be searching for that music. Even though they know Taylor Swift isn't on these platforms, they still got, what do they say, billions of users on TikTok that are going to be looking for music from Taylor Swift. So if I can go and make a TikTok profile that says AI Taylor Swift, and I make music that sounds similar to Taylor Swift or has a similar vibe to what Taylor Swift would make, and it's original music using AI, the floodgates are going to absolutely open on TikTok, because there's going to be so much opportunity for other people to capture that 1% of revenue that UMG is just kind of pushing away and disregarding, but could actually change somebody else's life if it were done the right way. So it's something interesting to think about. And it may be one of the reasons that Ghostwriter is kind of making a comeback, because there's going to be a lot of opportunity on TikTok for AI generated music, especially with UMG pulling out and making it so difficult for you to find their artists' real music. But anyway, y'all listen to this and check it out. You can hear what his new song sounds like. The song is called Whiplash, if I remember right. And he's got it posted on TikTok. It hasn't come out yet, but I told you guys in the last AI video I made, this AI music is getting better, and where it's at right now is the worst that it's going to be. Every single day that goes by with AI music is going to get better. And I think these record labels are starting to feel the pressure. So anyway, check this one out if y'all want to see it. That's crazy.
Can't kill it. Can't kill it.
They waiting outside. They flooding the gates, I'm running the wrist like no I ain't got it. Stormy and Scott, in Houston like when he got my brothers with me, we lighting the city on fire. Protect my Achilles, cause they tryna kill me, but I never been so alive. Yeah, whiplash, whiplash, we get whiplash, we get so live.
All right, so that's the Travis Scott part of the song Whiplash that Ghostwriter is doing. But check this out. Check out the 21 Savage verse. Hold on a second.
I'm like Flash, you like Bunny. I came from the bottom, please don't ask me what it took. I got demons in my past, but my angels keep on shook. Man down, I can't hear a sound. Walk out on your block, I hear silence in the slide. Man down, me a writer, raise a toast. Tryna shadow bend my boy, but you can't kill a ghost.
Oh my gosh. All right, so that's it, man. It's getting ugly out there. And I think UMG is seeing the writing on the wall. UMG seeing the writing on the wall. And again, I think this is something that's been missed in everything that's been covered with them pulling their music from TikTok, is that this technology is advancing so fast, and record labels, as you know, the music industry moves so slow, they're going to have trouble keeping up. And TikTok's like, hey, if the artists want to create this themselves, they want to use whatever tools they need to use to put the music out there, we're going to support it because it brings more people to our platform. And now that UMG basically declared war against TikTok and what they're doing, I think it's only a matter of time until we just see AI continue to make a move to start to take over the music scene. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. It's very, very interesting what's going on. And I'm sure there's going to be some moves that are made. But again, I mean, any legislation or any laws that are made to affect AI music, it's not only going to affect AI music, it's going to affect music as a whole. So, you know, it's not as simple as just writing. You cannot use AI music if you haven't, if you're not the original artist. There's going to be a lot more that goes into it. And this is just the beginning of what's happening with AI generated music with TikTok as a whole. And these record labels better, they better get ready, because in my opinion, UMG just started a war with not only TikTok, but with AI music in general. So